Most men never understand the power of masculine calm because they mistake it for something you can fake a performance you put on when you're nervous, a scripted version of composure that looks good on the surface. But real calm isn't an act. It's not something you force when you're trying to impress a woman or prove something to yourself. It's deeper than that. It's a presence, an energy that radiates from a man who isn't moved by every little emotional shift around him. Women sense this immediately, not because they're analyzing it, but because they feel it in their bones. Women are emotional creatures, not in a weak way, but in a way that's wild, stormy, and unpredictable. They live in a world of shifting moods, intense feelings, and sudden reactions. And when they encounter a man who isn't swept up in that chaos, who stands firm like a rock in the middle of their turbulence, it does something to them. It shakes them. Not because he's cold or indifferent, but because he's unshaken. That kind of calm isn't just noticed tits felt on a primal level. It's the difference between a man who chases validation and one who doesn't need it, between a man who panics when a woman pulls away and one who remains steady, unfazed. This isn't about pretending to be emotionless. It's about owning your emotions instead of being owned by them. A man with true masculine calm doesn't suppress what he feels. He just doesn't let it control him. When a woman tests him, he doesn't flinch. When she gets upset, he doesn't scramble to fix it. When she tries to provoke a reaction, he doesn't give her one. And that's what makes her heart race, because deep down, she wants to see if she can move you. She wants to know if you're the kind of man who can handle her storms without getting swept away. Most men fail this test without even realizing it. They overreact, over-explain, or try to control the situation, thinking that's what strength looks like. But real strength is silence. It's stillness. It's the ability to let her emotions crash against you like waves against a cliff loud. Powerful, but ultimately harmless. When she sees that she can't knock you off balance, that's when the real attraction begins. That's when she starts to wonder, what is it about him? And that's when you become the man she can't forget. The essence of masculine calm isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. So many men misunderstand this, thinking that being strong means shutting down feelings or pretending nothing affects them. But true emotional mastery isn't detachment. It's command. It's the ability to feel deeply without being ruled by those feelings. A man who has this doesn't panic when a woman's mood shifts. He doesn't scramble to fix her emotions or make hasty moves to soothe his own discomfort. Instead, he remains present, steady, and unshaken, not because he doesn't care, because he isn't afraid of the storm. Women are drawn to this like gravity. They can sense when a man is truly centered versus when he's just performing composure. And the difference is unmistakable. A reactive man, one who gets flustered when she's upset, who overthinks her silences, who bends to every emotional shift, loses her respect without even realizing it. But a man who stays grounded, that's the man who lingers in her thoughts. Long after he's gone, he doesn't chase her emotions. He holds space for them. He doesn't try to control her reactions. He lets them unfold without needing to steer them. And in doing so, he becomes the one thing she can't ignore. A man who isn't easily moved. This kind of calm isn't passive, it's powerful. It communicates that you're not threatened by her intensity, that you don't need her approval to feel secure. And that's what sparks real attraction. Women don't want a man who tries to fix their emotions. They want one who can handle them. When she sees that her words or moods don't throw you off course, something shifts in. She starts to test you less, not because she's given up, but because she's intrigued. She wonders why you're different. She wonders why she can't shake you. That's when the dynamic flips. She's no longer the one in control of the emotional tide. You are. The irony is that the less you react, the more she feels. The less you chase, the more she leans in. Masculine calm isn't about withholding. It's about being so secure in yourself that her emotions don't dictate yours. And when she senses that, that's when you stop being just another guy and start being the one she can't forget. The true test of a man's presence isn't how he acts when things are easy, it's how he remains when emotions run high. Most men fail here without realizing it. I think engagement means reaction, that connection requires meeting every emotional spike with equal intensity. But masculine calm operates differently. It understands that her storms aren't problems to solve, but energy to witness. She throws a test, your way a sudden mood shift, a provocative comment, an emotional outburst. The instinctive male response is to fix, explain, or match the energy. But the man who understands true presence does something far more powerful. He stays rooted. This non-reactivity isn't indifference, it's deep strength. When she pushes to see if you'll flinch and you don't, when she creates drama hoping for engagement and you remain unshaken, something profound happens. She isn't met with resistance, but with something far more disarming, quiet certainty. Your calm becomes a mirror reflecting back her own emotional patterns, and in that reflection, she starts to see herself differently. The games lose their appeal when they don't produce the expected reaction. The emotional spikes begin to smooth out when they crash against your stillness. There's a seductive power in this dynamic. Women don't truly want a man they can control. Emotionally, they want one who can handle their intensity without being controlled by it. When you remain steady while she's volatile, when you respond to her storms with a smile rather than escalation, you demonstrate a mastery that goes beyond words. She may try harder at first, pushing boundaries to see if your calm is genuine. But when she finds it, is when no provocation, no test, no emotional whirlwind can knock you off center. That's when real respect forms. This is where most men misunderstand attraction. They think passion comes from matching her fire, when in truth, the most magnetic force is the contrast of her storm against your unshakable peace. Your non-reactivity doesn't suppress the chemistry, it intensifies it, because now she's not just feeling her own emotions, she's feeling the pull of your grounded presence. And that's a sensation no amount of chasing or proving yourself could ever replicate. The paradox? The less you engage in the emotional back and forth, the more space you create for genuine connection to grow. The most powerful communication between a man and a woman never happens through words, flows through the silent language of presence. Your posture, the steadiness of your gaze, the way you breathe during tension, these are the real signals. She reads instinctively. Women are biologically wired to detect microshifts in male energy, which means every nervous glance, every rushed sentence, every tense muscle broadcasts insecurity louder than any words could. But when you master the physical embodiment of calm, your very being transmits an unshakable confidence that bypasses her logical mind and speaks directly to her primal awareness. True masculine presence reveals itself in the pauses between words, the comfortable silence where weaker men rush to fill the void. It's in the unhurried way you respond, the relaxed shoulders when others tense up, the amused smile when she expects defensiveness. These nonverbal cues form a code she unconsciously deciphers. Here is a man not easily rattled, a man centered in his own frame. While other men plead for her attention through exaggerated stories or forced humor, your quiet assurance draws her in precisely because it demands nothing. The body never lies. When your movements are deliberate rather than jittery, when your voice maintains its depth instead of rising in pitch under pressure, you demonstrate control that no pickup line could ever fake. Even more crucially, this grounded physicality changes how she experiences her own body around you. Her breathing synchronizes with yours. Her nervous system begins to mirror your calm. This is the hidden alchemy of attraction. Your external stillness creates internal stillness within her, allowing her turbulent feminine energy to relax into your masculine presence. Most men obsess over what to say, while ignoring how they say it. But the woman isn't listening to your sentences, she's reading the meta-message of your entire being. The man who understands this stops performing and starts embodying. He knows the secret isn't in crafting perfect words, but in becoming the kind of man whose mere presence speaks volumes. When you cultivate this silent strength, every interaction becomes charged with an unspoken authority, the kind that lingers in her memory long after the conversation ends. The final transformation occurs when masculine calm stops being something you do and becomes who you are. This isn't about tactics or temporary composure, it's a fundamental shift in how you occupy space in the world. When you reach this level, you no longer brace against life's turbulence. You become the eye of the storm itself. Women don't just notice this, they're drawn to it on a cellular level, because what you're offering isn't just attraction, but sanctuary. In a world of men who amplify chaos, your stillness becomes a gravitational force. This is where the paradox reveals its power. The less you need her, the more she needs to have you. Not because you're playing games, but because you've touched something primal within her. Feminine energy thrives in the presence of grounded masculinity. It's why the calmest man in the room often holds the most invisible influence. When she's with you, she doesn't have to question your stability. And that permission to surrender to her emotions without fear of capsizing your boat creates a bond no amount of chasing could manufacture. Your absence begins to affect her more profoundly than other men's presence. While they're texting compulsively or scrambling for attention, your quiet assurance lingers in her nervous system like a haunting melody. I should replay. Your interactions, not because you dazzled her with words, but because you gave her the rare experience of being truly met, not by someone trying to win her, but by someone completely at home in himself. This is the ultimate mastery. When your peace becomes so inherent that it rewrites the rules of engagement, women stop being puzzles to solve and become flames to warm by, because you're no longer seeking validation through their reactions. The storm swirls around you, but at your center. Perfect stillness. And that's where she longed to be.